So this will be the full footprint of the base, all triangles. Our TC goes here and our core here with the bunker entrance leading into it. Our front door path leads to the bunker entrance through this way. There are multiple variations in the height throughout all of these paths, which we'll go over later, but for now, let's build our starter base. What we're going for this starter is this, a basic circle base on raised foundations with all of the starting items you need. We'll talk about this window in a second, but first let's build up the structure. The footprint is a basic circle shape with an extra triangle on the front. There are only a couple of raised foundations, so the terrain shouldn't be a problem. We want to wall in the high foundations with full walls and the bottom with half walls. Leave the extra triangle out. The wall frame faces the extra triangle and the last wall here. So just so that you're aware of this as early as possible, this half wall here will have to be removed later on in the build. You can leave this wood for now, but it does leave it slightly vulnerable early game. It all depends on your playstyle. Once the door is in, the top can be sealed. The TC should be placed right here, but with enough room on each side to place walls. For this spot, it's ideal to immediately place a glass window, so if you do happen to find one very early, build it like this. If not, build a temporary wall here made out of wood. This has to be removed later, but if you find yourself in real trouble, you can always quick upgrade it to stone. For the video, I'll just use the window. We can now add this floor with 2 frames leading back into the base. These are both for doors, which when both in, makes it a little over 3 rockets to raid. Now don't add any more doors here though, as everything else is honeycomb in the final build. What we can add is our starting items, starting with this sleeping bag. The next thing is usually small boxes, 3 of which can fit right next to this wall. Before you get meds, barbecues are great to cook your food, and a small box should be under every one of these. We can place both right under this ledge for now. A furnace comes very early as well. We can actually fit 3 right down here. Although these placements aren't permanent, this is a good use of space for now. Once your doors are metal, consider placing your first large box. Honestly, right here should be fine. The final piece here will be the level 1 workbench, which I like to place closer to the door. You could probably squeeze a little bit more efficiency out of this, but in all honesty, the base shouldn't stay like this for long. If we have a look around the outside, our starter base is done. Now all you have to do is go from this to this. And that is pretty much the base. Remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh wait, you wanted to see how to build it. Sorry. Next we'll add our bunker entrance, extend our door path, and upgrade our core. On the front we'll add these low foundations along with these raised ones. We need raised foundations for the bunker so the half floor doesn't attach to anything. Now let's outline our core, which should also be 1.5 levels high, just like this. On the right side, we'll start with a triangle room and extend half walls around the rest of the bunker entrance. Once it looks like this, we'll add this half height floor on this side so that we can jump up and place our entrance. These last 2 triangles out here act as our way to jump in. To enclose this room, we'll add 2 walls on the side and this triangle to help movement. We need a half height section here to level everything out with the rest of this ceiling. A door goes here to where our jump up to the second floor will be. It's also smart to add another double door on this side just so that there's more than 1 door between us and the outside. Using a twig half wall, we can get this full stone wall into place above it. This twig is actually our bunker's seal point. I get a lot of questions about how this bunker works, so let me explain. To close the bunker, you build a twig half wall right here. This allows you to then build a triangle floor in the gap and upgrade it. You generally want to upgrade this to the material the rest of your core is using. Right now, that is simple stone. The thing that makes this so strong is that, let's say raiders go through these 2 doors. When they end up here, they will have to then raid through a stone wall. This also scales up nicely since making the bunker out of HQM will cost 15 rockets to raid. There is no way to get that amount of raid cost into such a small space without using this. Now as the base owner, you have the ability to spawn on this side of the bunker seal on your sleeping bag. The key thing here is that you have direct access to this twig, which when broken will open the bunker. That triangle floor cannot attach to the raised foundations. And that's how the bunker works. Next we'll want to start upgrading our core. No point in having a bunker if it could be bypassed easily by raiding right into the core. The final state of these parts will be HQM, but for now we'll upgrade all of the following pieces to sheet metal. We'll start with the foundations. These are visible from the outside, so let me clear something up real quick. There's many people that say this in the comments, so raised foundations cannot be soft-sided from the sides. Only the tops are soft. I guess it should technically be called soft topping. We also want to upgrade the walls and then all of these ceilings. The ceilings are important to stop raiders from 8 rocketing the top and exposing the entire core behind the bunker. With all that sheet metal, it also makes sense to come to this part here and upgrade these pieces of the bunker so that you can now seal it with sheet metal as well. From the outside, our base now looks like this. We will be adding some honeycomb around the metal next to cover it up, but first let's see what we can add utility-wise to the inside. So right after the first 2 doors, I've added some depot boxes and a trap protecting this general area. In here we can move our sleeping bag since we are now going to rearrange some stuff in a more permanent position. In this area we can also remove the bag and the level 1. The first big change will be this area down here. So let's pick up all of this stuff, and this is when this half wall has to go. This will also release the floor above. We'll also want to replace these doors, so I'll remove them so everything is clear in the video. Now with the clear area we can build a half height floor which will be held up by the left wall. Extend this out one more and we'll fill this in just 1 second. First let's jump up here and add our level 2. If you center this correctly then you will be able to fit in these 2 garage doors with no problem. I say no problem, but this actually took me like 3 tries. Once you get them into place, we could jump down, upgrade these 2 floors to sheet metal, and then add in some storage. We can fit 2 large boxes, a barbecue, and a small box here for now. We still have to add honeycomb back there, but right now it's important to upgrade the rest of our main core, which contains this section. Let's add the honeycomb now instead of later so that the layout of the core becomes clearer. This door is no longer needed since these garage doors are sufficient now. And then back here all of this stuff can be moved. This first wall should face the TC and should be sheet metal. This will eventually be HQM, but we will be able to upgrade it through the window before we place our level 3. The second wall should face the same way, but instead of making it sheet metal, we can leave it stone. The last wall faces the opposite way and needs to be metal. This is actually the back of our main loot room. Now with our core a little more better, let's add some honeycomb around it and then we can add a second floor on top. I've added all the honeycomb we need to add here in twig. All of this can be upgraded to stone for the time being, but if you want to skip stone to save materials, you can make it all right into metal. Next we'll want to add all the walls that go around the first floor since we won't be able to reach some of them from the roof. Once again, you can upgrade this right to metal if you want to save materials. We'll need 1 extra wall in this section and we can face it like this to protect the core better. We have more doors to add on the front section on the right here, but we'll come back to that. It's more important to build up the honeycomb that stops splash damage first. To finish this honeycomb, we'll need to come out onto the roof. We'll be topping off each of these triangles. The only extra part is here where we need to add an extra half height section. The rest of these are normal. Now our base has honeycomb on the first floor horizontally, but doesn't have anything above the core vertically. This is a big no-no in base designs for me, so the next thing we'll do is add honeycomb on top, which also allows us more space for more stuff. So for the second floor, first thing we'll want to do is change this to a garage door, which makes everything more open. Next on the left of the door, we'll want to add a full wall followed by these half walls. This basically covers up the most important parts of our core and adds space up here. We'll want to cover this up at half height and 1 up here. We'll also extend our elevator spot 1 half height so that it's 1 full wall height in total. Here we have a half height floor and a garage door, which makes traveling up to our roof access point very easy. Up here we'll want to bring this entire thing up 1 full wall with a garage door on the same side as the one below. Then the roof access is done. While we're up here, we have these two sheet metal roofs. We'll want to quick cover up this one. Now let's go back in, and one final section we can now add with the garage door here is this little triangle room. We can use this later for some extra storage. Now it's time we really start to strengthen our bunker and our front door path. To strengthen our bunker and the room around it, you know what, let's get rid of this stuff in here so that we have a nice open view of everything. So first here, we'll want to upgrade these floors which protect the bunker foundations from soft siding. We can upgrade this one, and the most important thing down here is that we upgrade these half walls to sheet metal because they protect the bunker. We can also upgrade this wall on the end. On the right side, we can immediately cover the rest of the raised foundation. You don't want to cover up the left side though until you have a way up. The goal here is to hatch in this position. This is the best means of travel, and once you have it, you can then seal this high foundation too. Once those half walls are in, this old way up is closed off. Next, we'll want to upgrade this triangle and the stuff above it. This left wall can get rotated because if raiders come through the walls, it's better to protect the inside up here. Some very important upgrades here are these walls and then the top. All of this needs to be metal. Once the whole room is sheet metal, we want to come down here and start upgrading our bunker entrance. This wall and the two foundations need to be HQM to ensure they are as strong as can be. Now if raiders come through the doors, they will eventually end up here, which is not something raiders like to see. You can now seal the bunker with HQM instead of metal, and it costs 15 rockets to get through that alone. We have a bunch of stuff to add in here too. Let's actually put this garage door up now since I took the door down for the demonstration. Now from the outside you could see some of the sheet metal is visible, but that is totally fine since it leads to an HQM bunker entrance anyway. Next we'll expand out our front door. Now on our entrance, we can first upgrade this foundation and then add a full wall here. On the bottom we'll want a frame here for a shop front. The front door goes here and should swing in. Next we can seal all of this roof, and our second door will complete the airlock on the bottom. Further back in, we'll add this frame for a double door. Up here, you'll notice we have a weak spot, so we can replace this with the garage door. This will also give us that extra triangle space like we have on the second floor. Later on, we can use this for storage. Right now, I'm just showing you how to build the walls and things like that. One thing I almost forgot to do was add this sheet metal half wall right into this area. Now this area is pretty much done. If we have a look from the outside, we can see the base has its full shape. This is the full size of the base, although it still needs upgrades, it won't get any bigger than this. Before we add in a bunch of storage and utility throughout this base, first let's finish the interior upgrades. Next, inside the bunker we have a lot of upgrades to do. First we'll need to remove this level 2 after we have the level 3 ready. We can take off this window and we'll upgrade this whole room to HQM. Now you can see here in the build hammer, there is no option to upgrade. This means this box below is too close to the foundation, so we must lift it before we can upgrade. Now back up here, we'll add in the final window type, which is this armored one. I really like this window, by the way. Next, this level 3 can go right in front of it, just make sure it's all the way up against the back wall. The small box, of course, goes underneath. Now let's upgrade the rest of our main core inside the bunker to HQM. There are a couple of exceptions here, like these two floor tiles which you can leave metal. We'll upgrade underneath after. We'll be adding an inside piece of honeycomb here, so this ceiling can remain metal as well. So before we start adding all this stuff in here, let's take care of the interior upgrades. First, this wall really quick to sheet metal. Next, in the bunker we have a lot of work to do. First, we'll want to remove the level 2 and replace it with a level 3. Pick up the level 2 and this window so we can upgrade the TC room. We want to upgrade this whole room to HQM. Now you can see the build hammer doesn't have the upgrade option for the floor. This means that this box down here is blocking it, so we must pick it up before we can upgrade. While we're down here, we can also upgrade these two spots to HQM. Next we'll jump back up. Actually, let me put this box back first. Now back up here we can add in the new armored window with the level 3 in front of it. A small box can go underneath it, and I also like to upgrade the window frame itself to metal. Next we'll upgrade the rest of the bunker. We've already done this foundation, but we can do the walls and the ceilings. We can leave these floors as metal and it's fine. There's a couple of more ceilings here, and the last one can be metal since we're going to honeycomb in front of it. We can add in this half height here and upgrade everything like this. We'll place a door frame in front of it for now. The final piece up here needs to be HQM. Now that that's done, we can add in a stone shelf. If you have trouble with this, you can always move the workbench over. That's going to be a great place for extra storage, but our main loot will go inside this room. We can leave these as stone and that should be fine. You can add the storage now, and we still have to talk about how to build this area depending on how many people are in your group. One more set of upgrades we could do now is the second floor. Now since this counts as honeycomb above the armored core, as you can see on the floor here, we'll want this whole room to be sheet metal. I like to upgrade these parts by the elevator because raiders may choose to raid this while splashing the roof. Now from the outside you can see we almost have the finished base. One last upgrade you should do now is the single triangle honeycomb from before. Most of the upgrading is done now. The only thing that is really left is the first floor honeycomb, which will finish as sheet metal, as you can kind of see back there in the finished base. Okay, so instead of showing you how to place every single box since they are very easy, I'll show you where everything goes. First, if you're going to use automatic lights, I like to put the solar panels up here on the top, kind of out of the way of raiders. Next we'll start at the front entrance, and up here we have a trap, just to protect you in case someone goes a door or two deep. Here are the bigger additions though. Now we have storage in this triangle, our research table and furnaces, and more storage on the end. One thing you'll want to add here is a stone frame with a garage door. This separates the bunker entrance from the outside walls. On the second floor here, we now have our repair bench with boxes under it. You could also see how we have the boxes laid out all around the room. We have another trap here. This one protects the drop down in the elevator. We have storage in this triangle as well. All pretty basic stuff, but a good use of area nonetheless. Now let's go down into the main part of our base where everything is now finalized. We have two sleeping bags right here. You can hook up your auto night lights with these components. There is storage with the vending machine and drop boxes with the garage door on the front. Down here is the same. Up a half a level, we now have a complete loot room in the side here and a couple of extra boxes on the opposite. Now one thing I want to make clear here is how to access the TC. With the build hammer, you can pick up the window and easily click on the TC. You can place this window back in from the same position and repair it. The second thing I want to make clear real quick is that you can seal this bunker with the hatch above in the following way. First, place the twig half wall like this. Next, you can crouch jump while spamming the triangle. Now it may take a couple of tries, but you will eventually place it. Upgrade it to HQM and the bunker is now sealed. And that is all the deployables inside the base. We have one more final mission, and that is upgrading the stone honeycomb around the first floor to sheet metal. So let's do that now. Best place to start is here at the entrance. We'll go around upgrading the foundations and walls to metal. Some foundations will be raised, upgrade them just the same. Now one thing you can do to save metal is, you see we have this door here. Directly behind it are these two honeycombs that don't need to be upgraded. We can leave these stone because it's already 3 walls to TC from both of them. If you plan on expanding more, then upgrading these might become necessary in the future. The rest of the stone should be upgraded right now. Now we need to upgrade the tops of all of those. To do this, we'll need to come out of the roof. If we jump down to this point, we'll also want to upgrade that extra triangle we built before. You could build some twig to reach the last part here. Now we can go around and upgrade the remaining ones. Those two are the stone, the last couple are over here on this side. And that is pretty much the base. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching the video. If you have anything to add, please do so in the comments below or hit me up in the Discord. Until then, see ya. Oh, and by the way, you should really subscribe. A lot of really cool stuff is in the works right now and you wouldn't want to miss it.